Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your WWE Raw review for Monday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Tonight on the show is Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back at WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss is coming back. She'll be in the Elimination Chamber, and Ria Ripley has a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Little malfunction.
Almost.
Little malfunction ski. Whoa, whoa.
Oh.
Hey, thank you, Harold, for renewing the membership. Shout out to the members. Harold Schneider, Angelo Contagonis in the chat, Brian Firth, all big supporters of the Ringside Report Network. Thank you guys for supporting the team. Appreciate you guys tuning in live. Yeah, Ria Ripley, a bit of she had problems with her top. You could tell at one point Bianca Belair had to sell extra because Ria had to tie her top on or together because her boobs were falling out. So that was something that happened on Raw, and we'll get to the gauntlet match that took place tonight on Raw that Bianca Belair wound up winning in a pretty good match with Ria Ripley. Despite the problems that Ria was obviously having with her gear, she wound up wrestling several matches and capping it off with a really good one with Bianca. So that was some solid stuff. But overall, not a great Raw. We were watching this thing and having trouble with it.
It was not an easy watch.
No.
Not by any stretch.
No.
We were hard-pressed to think of a best match tonight.
Yeah, and it's tough to say what was the match of the night. I think Ria and Bianca probably, or Randy and Seth, because I think Randy and Seth in the main event had a solid match. It's just we've seen it so much, and I just don't really care anymore about these guys wrestling each other.
Yeah.
I was more into Bianca and Ria.
Yeah, that one had more drama.
It was more on the line, right? That match was the final match in the gauntlet, where the winner of the gauntlet gets to be the person who enters the Elimination Chamber last. There's pods, right? The Elimination Chamber is a 6-person match. 2 people start in the ring. 4 people are in the pods. Every 2 or 5 minutes or something, a pod opens and another person enters the match until all the pods have opened. And, of course, it's advantageous, usually for a heel, to get the last spot in the chamber so they don't have to wrestle and they come in last. But Bianca Belair winning that spot with a win over Ria Ripley in kind of a heel spot, really, for Bianca after Ria Ripley.
She was a spoiler.
Yeah, Ria beats the odds. She beats Nikki Ash. She beats Liv Morgan. She beats Doudrop. This was a gauntlet match, and Ria Ripley ran the gauntlet until she faces Bianca Belair at the end. I mean, how did Bianca get to have the last spot in that gauntlet match? I feel like I've talked about this before. At some point they had a chamber match where this exact thing happened, where it's like, we're going to do a gauntlet match where the winner of it gets the last spot in the chamber.
This does feel familiar.
But, I'm sure it's happened before, and I'm sure some of you guys, I see Doug Hepburn is here. Doug Hepburn says it was a long 3 hours. I'm sure some of you guys could remind me of when they did this before, but I remember talking about it and it making no sense because you're having this gauntlet match, right? And the point of this gauntlet match is the winner gets to come in last in this multi-person match. But if you start the gauntlet match like Nikki Ash and Ria Ripley did, they're starting at a disadvantage. So how come they had to start this match? How come it wasn't Bianca Belair against Nikki Ash?
Or some kind of multi-competitor match. You know, it was a fatal
5-way.
5-way.
Yeah, it should have been a fatal 5-way.
One fall to a finish.
Instead of this gauntlet, because they're telling you, hey, sometimes we have matches to give people advantageous positions in other matches. But here is this match where 2 people are clearly at a disadvantage, and Bianca Belair, who comes in last, clearly at an advantage. She gets the advantage in the gauntlet, and then by getting that advantage, she also gets the advantage in the chamber. Doesn't make sense.
And she's the babyface.
And she's the babyface. Wouldn't that be something for Sonya Deville to rig with Doudrop or Nikki Ash or one of the heels. It didn't really make sense.
It didn't. But the final match, though, between Bianca and Ria, it's weird. Like, it felt like a match, a payoff, but there was no feud. But, like, because they're, like, two competitors in the division on their way up and they have a high stock, it added extra excitement into the match of, like, well, who's going to go over? Because Ria could have won this match. It kind of felt like it. The way she was selling and kind of, like, looked like she was, like, overcoming her pain to, like, keep going. But Bianca's not losing fresh.
She's not losing when she's the fresh one.
It would take
Ria
too much of a hit.
has gone through 3 people before, right?
Mm-hmm. She's a bit too high on the food chain to, like, take that kind of loss. But it still had a bit of intrigue to it.
It had a big fight feel, and you look at these two as the next ones. You know, like Bianca and Ria are kind of at a similar level in a lot of fans' minds where they're kind of the next generation of the Charlotte, the Becky, the Bayley, and the Sasha. You know, like Ria and Bianca are kind of the next ones up, and them having a match, which I don't think has happened on Raw, is kind of a big deal. And even after, wasn't it WrestleMania? Was it WrestleMania? When was Ria there with Bianca posing with the championship?
After Bianca defeated Sasha?
I feel like she was at some point. Yeah, when Bianca beat Sasha.
Or was this
after WrestleMania? Was Ria a champion last year after WrestleMania? Wasn't she?
That wasn't the year she wrestled Charlotte. That was the year before.
Yeah.
Last year, WrestleMania.
What are we talking? WrestleMania 37 was last year?
Yeah, that was the one in front of people. Bianca and Sasha headline night 1. That was a good match, too.
Yeah, Ria Ripley beat Asuka last year to win the Raw Women's title.
Oh, okay.
So last year after WrestleMania, I remember that because they went down to NXT and they posed with Raquel Gonzalez because they were both like the NXT people who had come up to the main roster and done well. And that was the message after WrestleMania. Like, Bianca is the SmackDown Women's Champion. Ria is the Raw Women's Champion. They're next up. Like, that was the feel after WrestleMania. And I don't think that they've had a one-on-one match since then or ever. I mean, they didn't wrestle then, right? But since that time, we haven't seen them on Raw.
They've been kept apart.
And then tonight they have this match, and it did feel like a big match because it's Bianca and Ria, and you're like, damn. However, you know, they give it to us at the end of a gauntlet where Ria's beat up. They don't advertise it. It's got something on the line, but obviously Bianca is going to win that something. And like I said, it doesn't really make sense that Bianca gets to enter last in the gauntlet. So it was a good match, and they delivered as far as what they did. And especially Ria having all those problems. Like, you could see her top was, like, coming undone. It's got, like, the little, like, shoelaces almost to tie it up.
Those are no favors.
And it, like, started
it's
coming
leather
undone.
Or leather, some kind of, like, leather thing. Like, it's not really good for wrestling.
So she had to deal with some stuff in that match, you know, and wrestling 3 matches before, and she still made it really good. And I think it's match of the night for me, and it felt big. It felt like a big deal. I don't know what the WWE is going to do for WrestleMania, but to me, Becky versus Ria and Bianca would be a big match because I think you got to keep pushing Ria and Bianca as your next stars in the women's division because they are stars. They're tremendous, both of them.
The announcers didn't really sell that, though. I don't think they mentioned any kind of mystique about their match or anything or like even they could have sold a thing about how, you know, even though Ria was beaten up, she still kind of took it to Bianca. Like, Bianca, like, it kind of seemed like she won the match a bit handily. You know, she hit her KOD, you know, and it's just Ria, you know, is really big, so it's kind of hard to lift. But Bianca, like, didn't look like she got by the skin of her teeth. Which, you know, if they kind of sold it like that, it could be like, well, what happens if Ria's fresh? Can she beat Bianca, you know? Because Bianca's such a powerhouse that, like, what if there's a, you know, a paper to her rock?
Yeah, they didn't talk about that.
No, they didn't add any kind of mystique.
They didn't build it.
And that's usually what they do best.
Yeah, they should have built it a little bit more, saying, oh, well, this was quite a hard-fought match. I wonder what would happen if Ria Ripley hadn't had to wrestle 3 matches before this. It was really none of that. It was just, oh, Bianca Belair gets to be the final participant entering the chamber.
And Bianca's thanking Ria for the match. What a gracious winner she is.
Yeah.
Don't we love Bianca? And it's just like, no, it makes me like her less.
I mean, kind of. I mean, I like Bianca, but as a babyface, I don't know if she's really working. I don't like the push. Like, I like Bianca Belair, the wrestler. Mm-hmm. I don't like the way that she's been portrayed in WWE for most of her run on the main roster. I don't think they're doing her a lot of favors in how they push her, but, you know, she's not the only one. You know, she's not the only one. It's just glaring, I think, because she is one of the most obviously talented and made for stardom. You know, like she's obviously a star, and the way they kind of have botched the babyface run of Bianca Belair, it's like, man, they could have done this a lot better and capitalized on her star potential, and I don't know if they are. Hopefully they figure it out, but I think Bianca, Ria, and Becky would tear the house down at Mania. They'd have a killer match. That's the match I'd like to see. I don't know how they get there because the winner of this Elimination Chamber match will take on Becky at WrestleMania, so they seem to be setting up a one-on-one. They could figure out a way to throw somebody else in there, I guess.
Well, I mean, someone else has been added to the match. The mystery...
No, I'm saying WrestleMania.
Oh, for WrestleMania. But, well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Oh,
no,
okay, so it's the Chamber winner and somebody else. You're saying it could be as a triple threat.
Well, I'm saying if we want to see Bianca versus Becky versus Ria in a triple threat at Mania, it's really hard to get there considering we have this Elimination Chamber where the winner of this chamber faces Becky. And usually in an Elimination Chamber where the rules are you must be the last person standing, everyone's eliminated, there's only one winner. You know what I mean?
It's hard to do a non-finish.
Yeah, and if they give us a non-finish for the chamber match, like...
But
you know, I mean, you could do Bianca and Ria as the last two, and they're both like down and can't answer the 10 count. You do a double down, and they stay down, and
the Saudi audience might not mind.
I don't know. And then they both kind of crawl up to their feet and like don't know where they are, and it's like, well, you both win, and they're like, okay, and they hug, and they're like, we're going to Mania, and Becky Lynch, you know, you're in trouble.
But at the same time, though. Don't you have now a sinking feeling that it's going to be neither Ria or Bianca who wins this match, and in fact, it could be Alexa Bliss. And the Mania promos with Becky will be all about the doll, and Becky talking about the doll and scared of the doll.
I hope not. They can't reduce Becky to talking about that stupid doll.
Oh, no.
I mean, bad enough we had to sit through all of this doll stuff over the past several weeks on Raw. And it culminated in the worst stuff that we saw on Raw tonight. By far, the Alexa Bliss with the guy, I guess he's supposed to be a psychiatrist or a doctor of some sort. I don't know what he's supposed to be. Alexa's there. She's all happy. The guy gives her the dismembered pieces of Lily the doll. It's like the stuffings of the doll. And he says this is his gift to her, so that Alexa can be at peace. And Alexa looks a little freaked out, and then she takes a breath, and she calms down. And then the guy pulls out another doll and says he's got an idea. And then we jump to later in the show where we have yet another Alexa Bliss and a stupid guy actor segment. And the guy has put the stuffings of the original doll in the new replica doll. And he says, Alexa, have this Lily replica doll wherever you go, and she'll be with you forever, and then you will have a wonderful life. Everything will be fine. Your life will be wonderful as long as you go everywhere with this stupid doll that I'm giving you.
No psychiatrist would say that.
No psychiatrist would ever say, have this doll, everything will be fine. You don't have to come back here. Just have this doll as, you know, like a...
Like a security blanket.
Or a support animal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. You're cured. Everything's good. You don't have to come back here. You're all good. Go back to wrestling. And then, of course, and it's just such a stupid premise. And then the graphic shows Alexa. There's like an Elimination Chamber graphic, and there's Alexa Bliss graphic, and Alexa's doing a voiceover now saying, "Oh, gee, I know there's a missing spot for the Elimination Chamber. I'm not doing anything on Saturday.
I'll go to Saudi Arabia."
And there's like the Alexa Bliss music, and she's like, "Hee, I'm back." It's like, ugh.
I forgot how much I hated that song. Might be my least favorite theme song.
It's just terrible.
Definitely currently, maybe ever.
So now she's in the Elimination Chamber, which is such a bummer because I was hoping, they have a mystery spot for the Chamber. Maybe it's Beth Phoenix. Maybe it's somebody cool. Not Alexa Bliss, who's been doing some of the worst stuff on Raw each and every week. Her stuff is the worst. It was so cringe bad tonight. Just horrible. Horrible stuff. And now she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber as her comeback match. Good luck to Alexa Bliss in that one. God.
She could win. She could win.
I don't think she's going to win. I think Ria Ripley looked real strong tonight. Like, she beat Nikki. Who else did she beat?
Doudrop. Pretty good match for Doudrop.
And Liv Morgan, who, whatever. Yeah. But she beat those 3 people, and then she had a competitive match with Bianca. Like, Ria could potentially win. Bianca, I think, could potentially win. I think you're right. Alexa could win,
but
too.
But not the other 3.
Who are the
other the ones 3? That lost to Ria. The Nikki, the Doudrop, and the Liv Morgan. They have no chance.
Yeah, Doudrop has no chance. Oh, yeah, they're in the match, too. And they're
in the chamber. Yeah, so.
Yeah, Liv Morgan, well, especially Doudrop, right? Because Doudrop lost after Rhea Ripley beats Nikki Ash, beats Liv Morgan, and then beats Doudrop. Like, Doudrop has been reduced to nothing at this point. She's got no chance. Nikki Ash has no chance. Liv Morgan is a joke. It's either Bianca, Rhea, or Alexa Bliss. I hope it's either Bianca or Rhea, because Alexa Bliss against Becky.
I have a feeling it's going to be Alexa Bliss.
Woo.
They like her.
Well, Becky's just got to shoot on her. She can't, talk about the doll like it's real or anything. You just got to say, Alexa, you're a joke of a wrestler. You've been around for a long time. At one point, you had way more belts than me, way more championships, and you look like a multi-time champion, and now look at you. You're playing with dolls. You're a total joke. You're a joke, Alexa Bliss. I can't believe you won the chamber and I have to wrestle you.
And then the lights are going to go out, and there's going to be a red light, and then Becky's going to be scared, and the doll will show up in the corner.
Does she still have the powers, or is she giving up on that? I guess she still has the
She'll
doll,
bring them
so
back.
The powers are still there.
And it's Mania season. You got to have the special effects.
Please. I mean, it can't happen. Not Becky. Becky can't do that. Becky was good tonight. I like what Becky Lynch did. The contract signing, Becky had a good promo tonight. Probably the best promo of anybody on the show. Gable was good. But everybody else, kind of weak. Becky's promo was good. Adam Pearce in the ring for the contract signing. Lita was there. Becky Lynch shows up in a jean jacket, almost dressed like Lita, kind of dressed down Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it was interesting. And she didn't look very confident walking to the ring.
No, she looked sad. She begged Lita not to do this. She said, I haven't slept all week. I can't believe my teenage idol is coming at me so close to WrestleMania. A lot of the same stuff she was saying last week, but kind of continuing on that theme. She says Lita's had a great career and wonders what else Lita has to prove. Becky says the only people that want to see them fight are the demented fans that get off on ruining other people's lives. Which I thought was a good line from Becky. Becky had a few killer lines in this promo. Lita asked the fans what she should do, which was weird, because Becky's like, look, it's the fans. They're trying to tear us apart. We're friends. We love each other. And Lita's like, hey, do you guys want to see me kick Becky's ass? And the fans are like, yeah, we feel kind of complicit into breaking up this friendship, though. Maybe you guys should be friends. I don't know, right? It was weird. Like, Lita is like, on the one hand, Becky's like, we're friends, and the fans are turning us against each other. And then Lita's like, hey, what do you fans think? And you're like, what?
And the expected response is like, kick her ass. But no, they're like, no, team up.
Well, they're like, well,
we're just,
I don't know. We're kind of involved now, and we feel bad. Lita says she's not there because she has one more match in her. She's there because she's got one more championship run in her, and she signs the contract. Becky says she won't be afraid to go for Lita's neck in the match. Of course, Lita's had neck problems. It's one of the reasons why she retired. And Becky says when people think of Lita, they think of her with a smile. But now, when she's done with her, they'll remember Lita with a tear in their eye. So Becky's saying she's going to hurt Lita and decimate her. And Lita says she's going to be the Raw champion. And then Becky gets mad and throws a contract at Lita and kind of leaves in a huff. It was a strange ending, but I liked the way Becky is approaching this match with Lita, unlike any other match. You know, every opponent is different. It's not a cookie-cutter approach as a heel to each and every person. You treat everyone differently because everyone is different, and especially Lita. Becky is going to a completely different place, and I thought the promo tonight was fantastic. The evolution of this Becky Lynch character, and combined with some real emotion from Becky, and the fact that she's got this great opponent in the legendary Lita. I think this has been really good. They haven't had a ton of time to build this, but the promo last week, the promo this week, have got me interested in this match. I mean, I was interested when they said Becky versus Lita, but I thought the promos really did well. I wasn't sure how Becky was going to deal with Lita, how this was going to go, but I thought this was one of the better segments of the night.
Yeah, I agree. It took me completely by surprise. Like I was saying during Becky's promo that, Becky's faking. She wants Lita to think she's scared of her so that she signs the contract. And it was just a sincere promo. Mm-hmm. And I just not used to that in wrestling. Just like a sincere, emotion.
Yeah.
It was she was actually kind of upset. Usually contract haha, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to brutalize you.
Yeah. And she did say some of that stuff, but she was saying it
regrettingly.
You're making me do this. Yeah. I don't want to hurt you, but you're coming at me here, and, it's close to WrestleMania season. I can't afford to take you lightly. I'm going to hurt you because I got to put you out so I make sure I win this match and go on to be champion. You understand Becky's perspective, which is difficult when she's a heel, but I don't really care because at the end of the day, she's a character that you can watch on TV and understand and get her motivations, and that's really rare in the WWE. And you can tell Becky has a lot of input on what she's doing and what she's saying because she's a character where you understand where she's coming from and why she's saying the things and doing the things that she's doing. So many.
Why can't they all be like that?
Yeah, so many of these people they do things and they make very little sense, but Becky makes sense because I think Becky is very involved in the character, and it shows. It was great stuff tonight.
And yet, she, in promos against her, it's all the snipes about her contract, and she makes too much money, and she's the one with creative control. You can almost see a sort of correlation there.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of the other people. I mean, Lito hasn't really been saying that stuff. She just says, "I want to be champion. I'm going to beat you."
No, yeah, thankfully she hasn't been saying that stuff.
But Lita hasn't really addressed the
It's weird, the Lita promos. Lita, it feels like a cognitive dissonance.
It's like they're having two different conversations. And Lita at no point goes, "I understand, Becky, that you feel this way, and I like you too, but I don't like the way you've been acting." I haven't heard Lita say that one time, and that's all she really has to say is this big time Bex character. You're being mean to people, and I don't like it, so I'm here to stop it. But there's been none of that. It's just I want to be champion. I don't care if I squash my old friends. I don't care if I'm the old person coming back to beat the new champion. I just want to be champion, and I feel I have one more run in me, and the fans want it, so I'm here. Deal with it. And Becky's I thought we were friends. And Lita's what do the fans think? It's weird. Lita's character is strange. It doesn't really add up. And I don't know what she's thinking about it, but her promos have been odd. And it does feel like they're separate, they're on two different wavelengths. I like it, though. I like what they're doing. I like what Becky's doing. The opening promo here of the show was not great. Bobby Lashley and MVP doing an in-ring promo Bobby talks about winning the Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins shows up and says he's the one that's going to win the Elimination Chamber. And he's prancing around and laughing. It looks like he forgot to pee before going into the ring. He's just kind of like, fidgeting like my son who's 4 years old. When like he's going around like that, it's like, all right, you got to pee, man. Go. And that's what Seth Rollins looked like. Seth Rollins in the ring with Bobby and MVP. And then Riddle comes out wearing a toga and riding a scooter barefoot with his hair in braids. And I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. His hair was braided up. He was riding a scooter barefoot in a toga. Because it was the Broga party tonight, which was one of the main reasons why Raw was so terrible. Riddle talks about how cool it would be if he wins the WWE title at the Chamber, and it would be even cooler if some of these guys came to his toga party later tonight, the Broga party. Riddle talks about the Chamber and the pods and how it reminds him of one time when he was locked in a gas station bathroom overnight, and and in the morning when the attendant unlocked the door, he realized he could survive anything. He could conquer anything. And no one in the ring challenged him on that. Like, what are you an idiot? Like you're telling us you were actually locked in a gas station bathroom overnight? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Don't they give you a key to use a gas station bathroom traditionally?
I don't know, but like Riddle's going on about being stuck in a gas station bathroom, and it's obviously a joke about how stupid Riddle is, but he's got other grown men.
And how smelly the bathrooms are. It's a smelly bathroom joke.
No, it's a joke about being locked in the chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, but Riddle was saying, like, oh, it's stinking there, but
yeah, whatever. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And Bobby Lashley, who's like a grown man, and Seth Rollins, I mean, they're in there, and they have microphones, and they don't say, like, really, you were in a bathroom? When was this? Like, what is the matter with you? It's just dumb shit. And then Austin Theory comes out, and he says, expect the unexpected, and I can't let Mr. McMahon down, so I have to win the Elimination Chamber for Vince. And then AJ Styles comes out, and he says he wants a defining WrestleMania moment and needs to win the Chamber and WWE title to get that. And then Brock Lesnar comes out wearing a cowboy hat and a sweater, and Brock takes his sweater and hat off and hangs it on Austin Theory, using him like a coat rack. And Theory then takes a selfie with the hat on. He's kind of happy that he's wearing Brock's hat. And Brock faces off with Bobby Lashley. And then Theory realizes that he's been disrespected. I think Seth Rollins was yelling at him, making fun of him. So Theory jumps on Brock Lesnar. And then everybody clears the ring. Brock, dodges Theory, tosses him over his back, suplexes him. Everybody gets out of the ring at that point. Brock suplexes Theory a couple of times, hits him with the F5, and then takes a selfie with the beaten Austin Theory. And that was Brock. Mm-hmm. That's Brock's $1 million tonight. Well earned, Brock. Well earned. I don't know. I didn't love the opening segment. It's just kind of boring when the guys are like, all right, and now I'm going to win the chamber. No, I'm going to win the chamber. And it's like, okay, all the guys. And I said, okay, well, here comes Brock at the end of this thing, and he'll clear out the ring, and then we'll go away, and then that'll be that. And then that's what happened. And it was just so predictable because it's how they do all their promos for all their matches on all their shows.
They do it for the chamber. They do the same one for Money in the Bank. Any kind of multi-person match.
Anytime these matches come around, they do this promo, and no one really says anything. They just show up. They come to the ring. They say,
Wait a minute.
Did you just say you're going to win the match? No. You must be mistaken. I am the one that is going to win the match. And then the next guy's music plays immediately, and he goes, hey, did you say you're going to win the match? No. It is I. And then
the third guy comes out. It's usually a heel. And then he starts talking, and then the babyface goes, shut up!
They usually fight.
And then it gets like a reaction when they go, shut up!
Yeah. And if Brock Lesnar was not involved, they would have done a 6-man tag.
Yeah.
That promo usually ends with a 6-man tag, baby faces versus heels, but because Brock Lesnar was there and is definitely not wrestling on TV, they just had the promo.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking terrible. It's so dumb. Oh, man. What about Stone Cold Steve Austin, though? Let's talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's a report from Fightful Select from Sean Ross Sapp saying that Stone Cold Steve Austin is in talks to wrestle at WrestleMania. Austin, the report is saying here from Fightful that Austin and the WWE are in talks, and the WWE is working on signing Steve Austin for a match at WrestleMania in, of course, Dallas, Texas. The word is, let me get you the report here. Having issues with it. There we go. The WWE has made significant overture towards Austin for a match at WrestleMania 38. There's no word if Austin is interested in wrestling his first match in almost 20 years. WWE is hoping he'll come out of retirement. The word is from WWE is at the very least they expect him to have some sort of physical role at Mania, but some believe he's going to wrestle a match.
Now, the phrase significant overture.
I mean, they're talking and they're begging.
They probably haven't offered money yet.
Damn it, pal, we need you to have a match.
Like Vince has called him probably and is like, made an impassioned plea, but they just haven't put a dollar figure in yet.
I have no idea what that means exactly. I think that means that they're talking about it and they're trying to get it done. But I don't know.
I see a match.
I'm doubtful because I've heard Austin talk about having another match and saying like he probably could, but at this point in his life and at this stage of the game that he wouldn't really be able to have a match that he would be that proud of, and he doesn't really want to come back for something that wouldn't be the Stone Cold that he wants people to remember. So I think that there is a chance that he may come back if he feels up to it, but I really doubt it. I think at the very most we see Austin come back for a couple of punches and a stunner, maybe a Luthez press, but I don't think it's going to be an official match. I'd be very, very surprised. But, I've been surprised before. You never know. I would love to see it. I think it'd be great. Hopefully he can do some stuff. I don't think he needs to do much. Like I said, if he could throw some punches, stomp a mud hole in the corner, do the Thez press, hit the stunner. That's really all you need to do. It's a 2-minute match. It's not like he has to take a bump. I don't really expect anybody... Like, if he wrestles Kevin Owens, I don't think Kevin Owens needs to get any offense at all on Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it's fine. If Austin wants to come in and have a squash match against Kevin Owens, why not?
It could be a match, but it also could be just a segment... Because Kevin Owens tonight cut another promo on the entire state of Texas.
Yeah, last week he loves Texas. This week, apparently Texas didn't believe that Kevin Owens loved them, so now he hates Texas. And he says he actually was lying last week. He really does hate Texas. And he probably won't be at WrestleMania because he hates Texas so much.
To me, that's planting the seeds for Kevin Owens to have a little promo in the middle of the show, one of the nights, talking about how much he hates Texas and disparaging all the fans. And then, he gets knocked around by, 3 or 4 Texas legends, including Stone Cold, to cap it. But, you got your Bradshaw, your Shawn Michaels.
Undertaker, maybe.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
But, Owens is just going to be, the kind
Caitlyn.
of guy getting knocked around. Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And then that would be Stone Cold. And then he would come out and he'd, stomp a mud hole and stunner. And then they'd all, raise a beer and do a Longhorn thing in Texas,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you expect. But the report is that they're trying to get him to wrestle an actual match, whatever that would mean. But, I mean, Doug Hepburn says, I'm really worried KO won't get booked for Mania. I think he will. I think he'll have a role. It may be just a promo where legends come and beat him up. It may be a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Best case scenario, he wrestles Stone Cold. I think that if Stone Cold does come back for a match, it seems to be, given the current landscape of things, that it would be against Kevin Owens, which would be... massive. I mean, imagine being the guy. I mean, you're hitting stunners as your finisher, and now you're the guy that gets to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin in his comeback match at WrestleMania in Dallas.
It's a big deal.
Damn. That's career done after that. Like, you're good. You wrestle Stone Cold in his comeback match? That's Stone Cold. Massive. I really hope Kevin Owens gets that. I really, really hope he does. I don't know if he will, but I hope he does for Kevin Owens' sake, because they turned Kevin Owens heel tonight for no apparent reason, and here's a guy who seemed to be getting some babyface steam, and they seemed to be going with it at some point until really tonight. Like last week, that promo on Texas was like babyface-ish, you know?
It was nice.
Like he's Seth Rollins' best friend, and he's like a good guy, and the fans seem to be taken to him, and he seemed to be a babyface. And then tonight, it was a complete turnaround, and he's this heel who hates Texas.
And he wants to like boycott WrestleMania.
He hates Mania. He hates Texas. He hates everybody.
KO Mania? That was a big thing. KO Mania.
The turnaround for Kevin Owens tonight, if it doesn't lead to a match with Steve Austin,
or at least a promo with Steve Austin,
it hurts him so much, because he was really getting some steam as a babyface. Like, people were starting to really take to him. And tonight, he does this weird promo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope Stone Cold gets the match. The report out of Fightful is that WWE is working on Stone Cold versus somebody at WrestleMania.
I kind of hope it's not a match with Stone Cold, at least for Kevin Owens' sake. Because, like, I don't know, like, we saw, you know, Stone Cold wrestle Eric Bischoff, you know, where he got all the heat. You know, like, Kevin Owens isn't quite Eric Bischoff. You know, for him not to throw punches or, you know, get, like, a little bit in, it would feel weird. To see Stone Cold just like punching him and like, oh, just like, oh, like stumbling around the ring. Like, sure, it's nice because like, oh, the great Stone Cold is back, but it would feel weird. And then like afterwards, like Owens is what? And
yeah, well.
So I don't know if I want to so a big promo, you know, and he takes a bunch of finishers and Texas is defended. That feels more like a Mania kind of moment,
I guess.
And that's what they want to go for. Then like Stone Cold kind of stumbling and like.
But a match, like you get promos leading up to it.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
It could be fun, but I don't know. Like,
I mean, for the fans, just thinking about the fans, like, all right, Kevin Owens, you know, I mean, without the Stone Cold match and this, where is he anyways, right? Come on. I don't know. Like,
I multi-man Intercontinental Championship
for the fans
match.
Leading up to Mania to have Stone Cold on a couple of Raws, I think that'd be cool. And he's building towards a match. Like, yeah, all right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm into that. If they can do it. I'm a big Stone Cold fan. I'm down to see him. Street Profits and Gorilla talking about what's on Raw tonight, and then they have a match with the Dirty Dogs that they win. A top rope splash from Montez on Rude after Rude was distracted by Tommaso Ciampa, who was on commentary for this match. Ciampa threw water in Dolph Ziggler's face. Ziggler super kicked Ciampa after the match. Ziggler and Ciampa are feuding in NXT, I guess, and they carried it over to Raw. I'd like this to be a way to bring Ciampa onto Raw full time.
I think it's more the Ziggler's like spending more time on NXT.
And this is just like when they had that other guy, Grayson
Waller.
Yeah.
With AJ.
With AJ Styles. That's what this is. But wouldn't you prefer it be like, oh, this is how they're introducing Ciampa to Raw, and now Ciampa's on Raw because he would be a good addition to this boring-ass show. Like, if he had a match tonight on the show, I think it would be a better show.
He was great. Like, remember, like, 2-3 years ago, there was, like, a few weeks where, like, Gargano and Ciampa were just, like, on Raw and, like, kind of over and, like, beating some main roster guys. And, like, Ciampa especially, like, he fit on the main roster. He looked great. I don't know.
More than Gargano, I think.
Yeah, much more than Gargano.
Yeah, I like Ciampa. I don't know.
The beard, his skull looking messed up, you know?
Yeah, he looks like a wrestler. He looks like somebody, you know?
He looks scary.
The promos don't really work for me, but the look and the wrestling is enough. You know, I like him. I think he's good, and I'd like to see more of him on Raw because I think, you know, he's done what he's done in NXT. He's kind of been there, done that, and NXT seems to be moving away from guys like Ciampa, yet he's still there. I don't know. I'd like to see him moved up to Raw. What has wrestling evolved into? I don't know.
I mean, depends the kind of wrestling.
Sports entertainment. Whatever you see tonight is a version of wrestling. Wrestling is many things. Watch wrestling in Mexico. Watch CMLL. Watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. You
Chikara.
Sure. You watch even Impact Wrestling, even AEW. It's different everywhere. And
GCW.
Even on Raw, you'll see different styles of wrestling. So what's wrestling evolved to? A variety of things, you know? Okay, the Broga party. We have Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz and Carmella and Zelina there for the Broga party. They're wearing togas. And Riddle wants to know where Randy is. Randy's not there. He's in his locker room, and he's interviewed by Kevin Irish. And he's not at the Broga party because he's focused on his match with Seth Rollins in the main event. And Randy did have that match with Seth Rollins, and he lost. Randy loses to Seth Rollins by pinfall after the curb stomp and a distraction from Gable and Otis. Gable and Otis came out. Riddle jumped Gable, but then Otis and Gable started beating up on Riddle on the entrance ramp, and Randy came down, made the save. The referee started counting 10. Randy actually made it back for the 10 count. You would think at this point there'd be a disqualification because Randy's fighting with other guys on the outside. Like, shouldn't Randy have won by disqualification? Maybe not. Maybe he was just attacking them.
Or if he gets counted out, you know, he gets mad at Riddle, you know, showing some kind of, you know, dysentery in the ranks.
Yeah. Silent by Deadly thanks us for addressing the comment. Well, you are welcome. And the best way to get us to see those comments, I know there's a lot of comments coming in. I can't always address all of them. But the best way for us to see those comments is to hit us up on Super Chat. And you'll support the Ringside Report Network, and I will definitely address whatever comment you have on Super Chat. It pops up, it makes a noise, that way I see it, and it's a lot easier for me to do. You can call in as well if you are a member of the team. Don't forget to become a member. Go to join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net, and only the members can call. Members only, it's a perk for the members, guys like Angelo, who called in last week on the Dynamite show. Doug Hepburn can call in anytime. And many other members that we have can call in if you want to join the show. AJ has a comment, but AJ's comments are irrelevant when it comes to pro wrestling. AJ's very well versed in martial arts, but he is a complete
novice
when it comes to pro wrestling. He is...
I like that word.
Yeah, he knows nothing about wrestling.
Reminds me of old video games.
But he's a good man. We love you, AJ, but I don't care about your wrestling comments, really. I mean, I barely care about your MMA comments. Most of the time, it's nonsense anyways, right? What the hell's AJ talking about? Hey, AJ, I got 2 words for you. Derek Brunson. All right? AJ's probably still mad about that. He picked Derek Brunson, and me and Freddie took Jared Cannonier on Saturday night, and Jared Cannonier won, and AJ was pretty mad. Derek Brunson.
I gotta say, like, Randy, you know, just like not participating in the tag team. Like, I don't know, is it like do they want to like frame it like that? Like, oh, Randy thinks he's too cool for this? Or is it just like Randy Orton, the person's like, I'm not putting on a toga. I don't want to be in this segment. I don't know. It just, it's hard to tell because like they don't, if it's Randy, the character thinks he's too cool for Riddle, and he's like embarrassed.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't feel it all the time. Like sometimes
they're building it. They're building it, and they're showing it to you more here. Where Randy, he likes Riddle, but he's also kind of like, you know, he doesn't love Riddle. And when they lose to Alpha Academy in their rematch, then I think we'll see the cracks starting to form, and maybe Riddle getting a little more upset with Randy, and then we start to see Randy versus Riddle for WrestleMania. I hope. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, because it's like, what
it's like
is
on
it?
And off.
Yeah, because like, you know, like I feel like the tag team these guys want to be is like the Rock and Sock Connection.
Yeah.
That's like what a lot of these tag teams want to be, these kinds of. But like in those ones, The Rock, you know, I mean, you know, Randy's the only one who bakes. I guess that's him joining in on the fun. But, you know, you kind of like, you know, would put Randy in these kind of situations more, you know. But like Randy just kind of standing always off to the side, being like, I don't want to do this. It feels more like that's Randy Orton, the person, being like, I'm not putting on a toga. I'm not going to be silly.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible, and, you know, good for him if he's not doing it, because it is really stupid. All that toga party stuff was horrible. I did like when they beat up the guy there, Riddle, at the toga party, Gable and Otis. I always like when Gable and Otis do things. I'm a fan of Gable and Otis, the Alpha Academy. Riddle was playing guitar and singing at that point at the Broga party. And then Gable and Otis show up and stop it, and they start beating up Riddle. And notice everybody, like all of Riddle's friends that he invited to the party, they all cleared out. No one helped him. No one really likes this guy.
It's a reference to the film Animal House. There's a toga party in there, and there's a guy who plays guitar, and it's the same song that Riddle was singing.
Oh.
And then John Belushi comes, takes the guitar, and smashes it against the wall. And I mean, I don't think it was intentional, but
I know, I think it was. If they
no, that one was. But like, it's funny they do an Animal House reference. The director just passed away.
Oh yeah, but it was a toga party, right?
Yeah. They're definitely what they were going for.
It's possible they were doing that, but it was terrible television. I didn't like it. Gable and Otis cut a promo. Gable cut a good promo before the match. Talked about how Rey Mysterio and Dominic are cheaters and how Gable doesn't cheat and how Dominic had Rey setting a bad example for him, helping Dominic cheat to beat The Miz last week. And then Miz and Maurice show up, and they're on commentary for the Alpha Academy versus the Mysterios. Miz distracts the Mysterios, and then Gable rolls up Dominic with a handful of tights. So they really had to do some double cheating to win this one. Alpha Academy get the win over the Mysterios. Maurice, after the match, slaps Rey Mysterio. Miz tosses Dominic out of the ring and hits the skull-crushing finale on Rey. So the Miz family taking out the Mysterios. And I guess we will continue this Miz versus Rey and Dominic feud for some reason.
Miz and Rey, I think, are wrestling at Chamber. They got added.
Ugh. That's nothing we needed to see. Did they add that officially?
I feel like I saw a graphic that said, just added this Saturday, Miz versus Rey.
Yeah, that is official. Ugh, not great.
It's going to be a long show.
Yeah, it is going to be a really long show.
2 chamber matches.
Saturday afternoon, it's 8 matches. Starts at noon Eastern. We're going to be on here on the Ringside Report Network right after the Elimination Chamber to review the whole show here for you. Rey versus Miz. Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville also added to this show. A tag team match. I thought they were going to wait till SmackDown to announce it, but they announced it tonight on Raw. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Nikki Ash, and Alexa Bliss in an Elimination Chamber match where the winner gets a shot at Becky for the Raw Women's title, or I guess Becky or Lita, but really Becky versus Lita. I think Becky probably wins. The Usos versus the Viking Raiders for the Smackdown Tag Titles. Roman Reigns versus Goldberg for the Universal title. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss in a Falls Count Anywhere. And Bobby Lashley defending the WWE title inside the Elimination Chamber against Brock Lesnar, Seth Freakin, Austin Theory, Riddle, and AJ Styles. And we'll do a full Elimination Chamber preview here on Friday night on Wrestling Uncensored with Johnny North. Yeah. Elsewhere on Raw here, we have a new 24/7 champion. Dana and Reginald were in a restaurant. Tamina and Tozawa showed up in disguises. Reginald figured it out, and they ran away. And Reggie says he wants to take their friendship to the next level. And Dana says she just wants to be friends. And Reggie says, okay. And then they shake hands. And Reggie rolls her up to win the 24/7 title. And it kind of felt like Reggie's like, all right, well, you don't want to be more than friends? Well, then I'm going to beat you in this wrestling match. I was like, oh, is that the message we want to send here to people? I don't know. But Reggie beat Dana Brooke to win the 24/7 title. Just rolled her up. Dana looked quite sad. R-Truth, Tamina, and Tozawa showed up, and Truth says, hey, Dana, happy Valentine's Day. Cupid doesn't like the friend zone, so kind of rubbing it in that you didn't want to be more than friends with Reggie, and that's why you're here by yourself on the ground, and you got rolled up and pinned for a 3 count by a man.
Yeah, not a great message.
No, I didn't like that.
Sending about.
It was weird. But that's WWE. They send weird messages, and their characters have weird motivations, and you're like, who am I supposed to like in this? I guess we're just supposed to feel bad for Dana Brooke, but I don't think we're supposed to like not like R-Truth. But what he said to her was kind of like, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cupid, yeah.
You just got, I mean, he pinned her. Like, yeah, it's a man beating
she rejected
a woman.
his advances.
Yeah, she rejected him as a boyfriend, so he beat her for her title. Yeah, so he attacked her, kind of. I mean, it's just a roll-up.
Which is like a situation that can happen in real life.
Yeah. It does happen. So, I don't know. For WWE to be perpetuating that kind of stuff on their Raw show was not my favorite thing at all. And now we have a new 24/7 champion. It's fucking Reggie, who was a 24/7 champion not long ago, and he's back. So,
okay.
All right. And Omas beat Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin in a 2-on-1 squash. Omas beats AJ Styles in his first real match, and now he's being rebuilt for some reason. Beats Shelton and Cedric tonight in a match that meant nothing.
It was sloppy.
Damian Priest beat AJ Styles with an awkward roll-up move to win the match. The match was all right. It was going fine, but it ended a little quick. Abrupt finish and a bad finish. Damian Priest retains the U.S. title in this match. AJ shakes Damian's hand afterwards, but this match was not as good as you would hope. It just kind of didn't.
I feel like these guys have wrestled before, and it was a lot more solid.
Yeah, this felt awkward. I don't know. Maybe somebody was off, but it was not great.
A lot of focusing on Damian's face getting angry, and that it's amazing how his stock has just fallen since they started doing that. He used to be like one of the most protected guys. He was over. We would always count him as one of the best matches of the night. He was consistent, and now just the last couple of weeks, it's just. It's getting harder to find, positive things to say about him, which is unfortunate. He's a guy you really want to get behind. He's one of these guys that, you want, he's in the mid card, and then maybe he'll win a Royal Rumble one day and be a main eventer. It's one of those guys you want to root for as he climbs up the ladder.
Yeah, but
he's stumbling right now.
Now this whole angry thing and
bad teeth.
The entrance the teeth, whatever, you can get those fixed. It's not a big deal. I don't really care about that. It's the entrance, the Damien, Mean, and then the Priest. Oh, it's like, what the hell is that? The white lights and it's like he's evil, but he's good, and it's like, okay, and then he snaps in the ring, and I don't know. The whole gimmick is terrible, and they're just not helping him. He's a talented guy, like you said. He could be a star in the future, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work right now for Damian Priest, and he had a match with AJ Styles tonight that you would expect to be good for the U.S. title, and it just wasn't. So I'd say Ria and Bianca was the match of the night, although Randy and Seth had a solid one too. Not a great night of wrestling tonight for Raw. Not a great way to go home to the Elimination Chamber coming up on Saturday. Didn't make me more excited to see the Chamber. Nothing I saw tonight made me more excited to see the Chamber other than Brock Lesnar F5ing Austin Theory. I'd like to see Brock Lesnar beat the absolute shit out of Austin Theory on Saturday. I think that would be fun. Other than that,
I'm also looking forward to seeing Ronda get some more ring time. Hopefully she'll be okay,
Becky and Lita, I want to see. That's probably the real main event to me.
I'm not expecting too much from that, then.
No, but it's you wonder how it's going to go. I'm looking forward to it. But also the Elimination Chamber matches are interesting because I think Brock Lesnar's going to win, but I'm not 100%. And the women's one, too, could go either way. The women's Elimination Chamber match has a lot on the line. It has a WrestleMania title shot on the line. And could be Rhea, could be Bianca, could be Alexa. I really don't know. So I'm looking forward to those two. Mostly the Chamber matches and then the Becky match. Everything else, like Roman and Goldberg, Drew and Madcap,
the Usos and the
even
Viking Raiders.
The Ronda and Naomi versus Charlotte and Sonya. I mean, the tag match really does not do much for me. Rey and Miz, come on. Yeah, the Usos and the Viking Raiders. Not, A lot of these matches do nothing for me, but Becky's match, the chamber matches, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Those will be good.
They'll be long.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the main things that we're there for.
A chamber match now, was it 5 minutes in between each entrant coming in, I think? And so it's like at least like 45 minutes each, those matches, feels like.
Sometimes,
chamber match, it goes a long while.
Yeah, they're long matches.
The final two usually is like they have a match after, like at the end.
It's going to be a 4+ hour show, I think, on Sunday or Saturday.
Well, it'll be it's a test of stamina.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one Saturday afternoon. See if we can stay awake through this 4-hour thing. I hope it's entertaining.
I hope so. I mean, usually the Saudi cards, despite the controversy around them, they usually deliver. But I don't know. I mean, Goldberg Roman could be okay. Goldberg sometimes has fun car crash matches.
I think it'll be short. That'll be a short one.
Yeah, but Roman's not really a car crash. Sometimes. No. He might take a spear and like fly through the barricade.
I don't think so. I think that match is like really short and Roman beats him quick. I think he hits a few Superman punches, couple spears, and it's over. Yeah, I don't think Goldberg's really in wrestling shape. He doesn't look great. He doesn't look big.
Who was the last match against Bobby Lashley? That was on the Saudi card, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be a short one, and I'm hoping it's going to be a short one because, like you said, 2 chamber matches, they'll be long. I don't need to see Roman and Goldberg go over 10 minutes. Over 5, I think would be a stretch, really. Doug Hepburn says a lot of these characters need to be more raw. It's the name of the show. I pointed that out. You pointed that out, Dave. The wrestlers need to respond to crazy shit like Riddle locked in a bathroom. Yeah, exactly. They need to be more off the cuff. They need to be more conversational and a little bit less rehearsed and doing their lines. Like you see Becky and Lita tonight. Becky's doing from the heart real promo, and Lita just can't quite respond. Riddle says some dumb shit that was written for him, and none of the characters want to point out, like, hey, that doesn't make any kind of sense. So, yeah. We should have got Snoop to wear Ringside Report merch at the Super Bowl. I mean, that would have been good, right?
We probably would have to pay him and...
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't...
Be in contact with him.
Yeah, it was a pretty good Super Bowl show. Kendrick Lamar was really good. I thought he was the best part. It was good. Good Super Bowl halftime show. I didn't watch the second half of the Super Bowl because I saw what I needed to see. I really didn't.
I watched the fourth quarter.
I watched some. I came back kind of at the end and saw the score, and I was like, oh, okay, the Rams won.
Yeah, but they took the lead late in the game.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that. I was watching something else.
Righteous Gemstones?
That was on after the Super Bowl, I think. Super Bowl ended, and it was like Gemstones time.
Oh, hell of a Gemstone. Gemstones was
so good.
Much better than the game.
Well, I'm not really a football fan, so I definitely preferred the Righteous Gemstones episode.
It was action-packed.
It was crazy.
The whole thing in the hospital.
I don't want to give it away because it aired yesterday. I don't want to spoil it for people, but man, it was a good episode. It was so good. Every episode gets crazier and crazier in this show. Righteous Gemstones. I highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
And I highly recommend sticking with us here on the Ringside Report Network. We will be back here Wednesday night after Dynamite. Big episode of Dynamite. Bryan Danielson will be back in action in the ring, so that'll be good to see. And a lot of other things happening this Wednesday night on Dynamite. We'll be back right after Dynamite, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Ringside Report Network. I'll be back with AJ on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, AJ and Freddie for Ringside Report MMA. And then Friday night with Johnny North, we'll be doing the WWE Elimination Chamber preview show right after Smackdown at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Saturday afternoon, back here after the Elimination Chamber, talking about the Chamber here with you. And that's it. That is it. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. Appreciate you. And I will see you again here on Wednesday night after the Elimination Chamber. No.
Dynamite.
After Dynamite. God, there's too many shows. Wednesday night after Dynamite. Oh, God. Doug just dropped a super chat, and I think he's just trying to extend the show by doing this.
Do I have any random advice?
Ben, do you have any random advice on day-to-day life? That is
Me?
That is a strange...
Random advice on day-to-day life?
I mean, he asked it in a super chat, so you have to address it. And that's usually how the show goes. Sometimes they do this to me. They start super chatting at the end of the show. And just
so do I have any life tips?
As I wrap up the show, they like start hitting me up, and then I can't go. Super chat. Yeah, there it is. Random advice on day-to-day life from Doug Hepburn. Thank you, Doug. Super chat leader of the night. You don't.
I mean, showers are always good.
What?
I don't know.
That's your advice?
Take a shower.
Take a shower? That's
it's relaxing. It's good for your hygiene.
That is horrible
You
advice.
feel good. What, day-to-day life, right? What, like, it's not like some big life decision. Take a shower. It's a nice little tip, you know?
Super chat me for my random advice on day-to-day life. It's much better.
Clean your dishes after you use them so they don't pile up. I don't know.
I've got better advice for day-to-day life. You say take a shower? No, I'm not giving it because you have to super chat me to do it. Oh, Angelo dropped a super chat. He says, great show tonight. Catch you on Wednesday. Thank you, Angelo. Doug says, yeah, I'm showering tomorrow. LOL. Thanks, Ben.
I didn't need to know that, but all right.
I'm not giving away my precious life advice for free. I've got tons of life advice.
You know, I have others, you know, but, you know, I don't have that much advice, you know. Like, I have more like, you know, hey, here's some good movies, you know, if you're...
Yeah, he's got good movies.
I recommend movies more than, like,
TV and recommend. I'll tell you how to live. You want to know how to live? I don't live much. Yeah, you don't live much? I don't do much living. I don't know.
I'm watching HBO. I don't know.
Yeah. HBO is always good.
You know what I saw for the first time that kicks complete ass? RoboCop.
I've never seen RoboCop.
The original RoboCop, very good movie. Tons of violence, blood, squibs, good satire.
What's a squib?
A squib is like, you know, like in an old time movie.
Oh, blood that explodes.
And like the bullet hole, it's like a little minor explosion. It's called squibs.
Squibs.
Now it's all CGI and shit, you know, like CGI blood when like someone gets shot.
Yeah.
Squibs. It's all about the squibs.
Squibs is where it's at, baby.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Good, you know. That's how you can tell something is good or not.
AJ is just nonsensical. I don't even know what his comments are referring to.
Well, Steven Seagal.
All right. Well, I think we're done. Angelo, thank you. Doug, thank you. Take your vitamins and say your prayers. That's pretty good life advice.
And train. Say your prayers. Eat your vitamins. Be true to yourself. True to your country. Be a real American.
All right.
And then
I think we got to end that. I mean, that's good.